Okay, we're starting here, and I'm burying the knot underneath, inside the fabric. And then we're going to anchor this one a couple times. I am going through that piece of yarn. I'm trying to get far enough away where you can see it and it's not blurry, but close enough where I can see it. Okay, so I have it pinned and I'm holding it, and I'm going to go about 1/4 of an inch. And what I'm doing here is a stitch that will show. You will see the stitches. If you're using fabric or thread, I'm sorry, that matches the yarn, then it won't show on the yarn, but it will show on the lining. These are really small stitches, about 1/4 of an inch, and like I said, I'm piercing that thread, that yarn. I'm going through it. And I don't know if that's the best way to do it based on your stitches, because I don't want them to fall apart when they're pulling on the lining, but it's the best way to do it to hide it. So on the other side, you don't see anything. You just see the lining showing through. All right, so this is your basic hem stitch. I'm holding it here, and I go through from the top to the bottom, and then pull it through. Now my suggestion is every inch or so, because we don't want this to come apart, go back in the same place where you were, go through that loop, and make a knot. And that way you're just anchoring, so that if any of these threads break in here, every inch or so you've got a spot that's knotted that's not going to come apart. Now, the other way to do this is a stitch that's hidden, and that way is going straight through and hiding the stitch in your yarn. This one looks trickier, but it's really not. On the inside it looks cleaner because, gosh, I hope you can see this. Because what I'm doing is I'm going to go straight down, I'm piercing the yarn, I'm going through the yarn, and I'm coming up about 3/8 of an inch. And then pulling it through. I'm going to do a couple more of those just so you can watch. I'm piercing, and I'm bringing it up, and then pulling it through. Pulling that pin out. Now watch. What this does is creates a look on the inside that if, for example, you're using gray thread because you don't want it to show on this side, but on the inside you really don't want the gray to show like this at the top, you can do this stitch here. It's a little bit trickier because you want to find a way to hide those stitches in there so that it doesn't show on the other side, but once you get the rhythm of this, Crystal, you're going to throw these on like it's nothing. Now, like I said, I'm going to anchor that right here by going through the loop a couple times, making a knot. So let me go back to the other way just to show you. This one, your stitches show a little bit more. There's a little bit of a loop there. Gosh, this is fuzzy. I hope this works. So I hold things upside down. I hold things crooked. I make it so it's easier for me to sew. Some people, when they're doing a hem, they think they have to start like this and they have to go across like this. I just manipulate the fabric so that when I'm sewing, I have control of this thread. Okay, another knot. And that one's anchored. So there's this way, there's this way, that's 5 minutes of sewing. I hope that's not too much. I'm going to just keep doing this. See how I go through it? I'm digging right in there through that yarn. The other thing you could do is like go through the yarn, come up here, go through the yarn. This is another way to do it, Crystal, that's going to take more thread and more time, but it will anchor it. And in this one, you're going to go through, and every single stitch, you're going to make a loop, and you're going to anchor it. Now, this is something that I would do when I want to take my time and I want to make sure that this thing never falls apart. Okay? This is like the best, most efficient, not efficient, safest. How's that? This right here. Now see what I'm doing is, one more time, I am going through this yarn, bearing my stitch, because that way on the other side, look, that's what you see at the top. That's what you see at the front. So, here, just make a loop, go through the knot, there. So look, this one's not going anywhere. This one pulls a little bit. There's your purse. There's your lining. I wish I had a pilot boyfriend so I could fly there and put them in for you and visit you. Maybe someday that will happen, right? I love you.